guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did an 18 by 24 inch desert landscape with a waterfall. It's a commission for one of my favorite clients. It turned out fantastic. You obviously think so as well. That's why you want to learn how to paint this one. So check the description down below. Make sure you get all the colors you need. Make sure you get your canvas nice and wet. Get ready to throw some paint on. Let's do it just like this. Holy cow, what happened to my painting? What did you do with it? All right, let me show you what we did. So in order to do a literally every single step video, I took Liquitex Black Gesso. I covered the entire bottom section, a little piece of tape across, and then we ripped it off, and now it's all dry. This is acrylic paint, so it only takes about 15 minutes to dry. And then we need to come on here, I got white paint on my own hand, crazy man. We need to come here and add our liquid clear. Now, in order to make our canvas wet, we're gonna need linseed oil or liquid clear. Looks just like this. So what we can do is take off the lid, dip our brush just a little bit, right? You can see how full this one is. It's very full. So we're gonna come over here just a little bit into the bristles. So it's only about a 1/4 inch. You can see how very syrupy it looks. Ah, it's gross. Yeah, it's all thick and gross. Then we're gonna put it down in here, just kind of stretch it across. And that way we don't have to start in one spot and work it all the way across over here. We can just go like this, spread it here, spread it there. And if you'd already know how to do this part, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and share before you skip forward, please. It helps. The more likes that you have on a video, the more comments that you have, the more people are gonna watch it. So, that's just how the system works, and it's just how it goes. Now, once we get our thing all nice and covered up and it's fully spread out as far as we can possibly get it, then we're going to take a bit of paper towel. I use the Viva brand. This is like the super soft version. We're going to take a bit of paper towel. We're going to fold it. We're going to fold it again into a little square, just like that. And now we're going to put a lot of pressure on the canvas and wipe, and then wipe from one side only all the way across. Remove all that excess clear paint that we don't need. Now let's wash our brush off, because we're going to do it with the white as well. So even though it looks like my brush is going all the way into the cup, trust me, it's not. It's very, very, very low on the level. And then you can pull it up, spin it, get a couple little bits to stay in the cup. Now, flick off the excess into a trash can. And then, of course, you got to beat the devil out of it into the old beater bucket. It's a 5-gallon bucket with a golf ball basket down in the bottom of it. And that just gives me a couple surfaces to beat the devil out of it and keep it nice and clean and contained inside of the bucket. Now, we're going to be using our liquid white paint. Okay, the liquid white is going to go in the top section, and we need it just as thin, very light little coat as our clear down on the bottom. So what I do is like to shake up the jar, and then I flip the jar upside down, and whatever is stuck in here is probably going to be just about enough. Okay, now what we're gonna do is dab it on and then work it out real rough and have it go very thin across the whole thing. We want it to spread out. You don't want it to be very thick. You don't want to have it be gripping on our brush in certain places. No, 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 no. Don't do that for us. All right, the thinner that it's spread out, the slipperier it becomes, and that goes for the clear and for the liquid white. All right, the more thin that we spread it, the more slippery we get. Now, I don't want to take any of the white and get it down into our black section. We have that black for a reason, right? We don't want to get all of that black covered in our white paint. That's going to be no good. That's where all of our shadows live. Now, I'm getting a little bit of my extra liquid white, and we're going to put it in my little petri dish over here. So if you're wondering, what is Josh doing? I'm going to show you. Hang on. I'm going to wipe off the knife, put all this wet stuff away. There we go. Now, I've got a little petri dish, which is the lid of an old liquid white jar that I keep a pile of wet liquid white in so I can go and dab it with my brush and not contaminate my jar, right? That's the key. Now, here's how you can test if you've got just about enough liquid white. You go 1, 2, 3. Each of your fingers should have just about the same amount, right? You should be able to see all the little dimples in the canvas, or at least the ridges of your fingerprint. If you touch it and it's really goopy and globby and you just pull it, then you got way too much on there. Way too much. Now, let's go up here and we're gonna go through our colors that you're gonna need in order to paint along with Joshy today. And I'm gonna have to get a couple more out of the old box because I never come prepared. Don't ask why. Even when we do a tutorial, never come prepared. You guys aren't prepared. Why do I gotta get prepared? Okay, let's get a little of our red that we got out already. We got our crimson, we got our blue, we have our black and our white. We're gonna need some brown. So let's get our dark sienna brown, which is the lighter color of the two browns. So if you're using like raw umber and burnt umber, use the lighter color, not the darker one. The lighter one, the brighter one. A little bit of that. We don't need too much. We do need some cad yellow for our sky. And whoop, pop that down right there. And then we're gonna need some yellow ochre as well for our rocks and bushes and all sorts of stuff. Probably some green too. Probably just need every color. But I would have listed them in the comments or in the description. So check the description if you want to find all the colors that we're gonna use today. And then the last little thing we need is maybe a touch of white and we'll be all set to go. So, a little plop, and then I'll show you exactly what they look like and how much we have on there until we're running out of the black very quickly. Very quickly running out of black because we use it a lot around here. Now we're gonna be ready. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, I'll show you what we have over here. Take that guy, put him over there. Take this guy, flatten him out like that. Boom, boom, boom. Now we can show you. Okay, we've got our cadmium yellow, our bright red. This is lamp black from the Meeden set. We'll probably might use it. Maybe. If not, we can always substitute it for that black. Okay, then we have our, that's phthalo green, not sap green. You clown. Why would I do that? Have you guys ever put the wrong green in the wrong pile? It's okay, we'll just swap the piles. It's totally fine. Don't even need to pick it up. We'll put our sap green over here now. What do you think of that? You can't trick me up, old palette. See, talking to you guys this makes me forget stuff. How am I supposed to be a painter if I gotta tell you guys everything? There's my yellow ochre. Oh no, that's Indian yellow. Where's my yellow ochre at? What the heck, guys? Oh, yellow ochre, where are you? I will find you. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Where? Ah, there you are. I told you I'd find it. It's because it wasn't in a box. I told you I'd find you. Okay. A little of our yellow ochre. It's like a deep yellowish, orangish color. Right now I think we're ready to go, Josh. Just after about 10 whole minutes of messing around, I think we're finally ready to get started on our painting. So, since we don't have much room, let's grab a 1/8 brush for this guy. And that way, we have our whole sky that we can play around with. Much better. Now, we're going to come over here, grab a little of our cadmium yellow, just pull it right onto the thing, and who knows, maybe we just drop a little bit of it right down here. Just a little touch. That's all we need. A little bit. We don't have a lot of room for sky. Straight into the red, right on top of the brush. Right, and we come out here, we dump a little of our red. It's constantly mixing with the yellow. It's mixing with the white. Put a little bit more of our red out here. You wanna know what I wanna do now? A little bit of that yellow ochre. Just a little touch, again, right over the top. It's just gonna change the flavor just a little bit. Nothing crazy to it. Now, a little of our crimson. Gotta have our crimson paint. Did I not tell you the colors that we were gonna use today? Did I forget to do that part? Let me show you real quick. Let me show you, okay? So we have our cadmium yellow, our bright red, the phthalo green, the sap green, dark sienna brown, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, titanium white. Okay, now that we've gone into the crimson color, we're getting darker and darker and darker as we get out here, helping our sunset kind of extend. Right now, Josh likes to get very dark around the corners, so prepare yourself. Prepare yourselves. Okay, we're gonna come in with a little bit of our blue. Right, again, on the same brush. If you go through this color progression, you don't need to wash it until we get done. Trust me. Okay, a little bit of our blue, dark, purplish. Every color that it's mixing in with out here makes it a very deep, dark blue color, right? Pull it in like this. A little bit into our crimson-y paint. The more we streak it across, the darker it's gonna get. And grab a little bit on this guy, pulling down over here, and who knows, maybe the smallest little touch of black. Just a little touch of our Bob Ross black, not the Meeden black, just the Bob Ross black. Because we know that the Bob Ross black is not really black. It tends to blend to this very purplish color the more that we mix into it, right? Now, getting all these dark bits along the edge of our canvas. Remember, don't use a whole lot of paint, you guys. The more paint that you use, the more it's going to spread when we start to stretch it with our big 2-inch brush, right? So let's come in here into the lightest part of our sky and just crisscross back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Over here, over there. See how we're dragging some of the red into the yellowy bit? It changes the color of it. It starts to make it all soft. Okay, now, here's going to be our issue where we get out into our darker colors. They're going to want to intermix and grow and cover up our whole thing. So we have to be very light on the pressure, right? Down here, you can push it a little bit harder. You can see the difference between pushing hard, letting it blend down into that grayish kind of, whoop, touched it right there. Letting it blend down into that grayish color versus much softer up here. It's a lot darker, right? So we're going to blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it, blend it. Trying to leave a very small little bit of yellow back in here. And the more we come across with that gray, the darker our little yellow spot's going to want to get, right? Now we're going to come onto this side. Same thing. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Letting it blend down, blend down, blend down. We don't want this blue now to get too much into that yellow. Start going green on us in our sky. That's not going to be good. Back in there like that. Now we can take our brush and wash it. Get all this color off of there, because the more color that's on the brush, the more is going to want to cover our bright area, right? So we'll come back again. Back into the cup. Remember, the cup's only about this full. So even though it looks like I'm dunking in the entire brush, we're really only dipping in the tip of the bristles. Just the little tip of them at the top. Shake off the excess. Chuck it into the trash. Right? Make it like that, like you're going to towel whip somebody. Like, whoosh, right into the garbage. Then you come into your old bucket and you beat the devil out of it like that. Fantastic. Comes out nice and clean. Dab it on a paper towel. And that way, get this very dry, very usable brush again. Now come back into the brightest part and work that out. See what I mean? See what I mean, jelly beans? You can get that brightness to kind of spread back out again. A couple little long streaks here, little, wherever you want it to be, okay? Now, let's come back in and throw some clouds on that sky. Let's throw some clouds on that old sky. All we need to do is grab a little bit of white. The clouds for this old painting were very bright colored. Now, even though it's not going to be exactly the same as it was before, it's going to be close. So let's clean our brushes off, get some nice clean utensils, and then we've only used 2 brushes so far. We got our 1-inch brush and our 2-inch brush, right? And I like to use the same ones over and over again so you don't have to buy more than one set. Just the one that you guys come with, right? Just like that. Now, let's come over here. We're going to grab a fan brush. A little fan brush. Doesn't matter the size, really, right? And we're going to get a little filbert brush. Now, the filbert brush almost looks like your fingertip, and you can use your fingertip as replacement if you don't have one of these to just make a little moon or a sun out there. So just on one side of the brush, we're going to pull down a bit of the white, just so it's on the one side, not the back side, just the front side, right? Come over here, and we're going to take it and plop it into our brightest part of our sky, which I would think, I don't know, maybe right here, just a little bloop. Okay, now we're going to rotate the brush. See how it's pushed flat against the canvas like that? And then we spin it, trying to keep the center of the handle in the middle of our circle. And as the bristles rotate outwards and get bigger and bigger and flatter, they make this perfect little circle sun out there. Man, that looks cool. And it's so easy. And again, you could do it with your finger if you wanted to, and if you didn't have a filbert brush, you just get a little bit of it on your fingertip, and then come up here and just work it out into a circle until it's however you like it to look. Very simply done. Now we're going to come back with a fan brush over here, and let's make some clouds. We've got all this darkness, a little bit of this light that we can save, right? So what if we had our clouds and they came in up and down, right? Spinning it, pushing on until there's no more color, and then once that happens, then you can spin it and drop on a whole nother set, right? Just a little bit of craziness out there. All you need. Don't make it harder than it is. Take the brush, twist it, mush it, turn it, smash it against the canvas. Come up here, grab that little bit of white, and we start to work it down. And as it works, it starts getting darker and darker. It mixes with all those little colors that are underneath it. Mixes with the dark color down here. And the more that you mix that white, the more and more and more, it literally will go away and disappear with the other part of our sky, right? Just literally disappears. Now, let's come back in, wiping off our brush so there's not much paint left on it. We're going to come back over here, down into the paint. Now, when we're on a white canvas, you need a lot more paint on your brush than you do on a black canvas. Imagine that much paint on a black canvas would show so crazily when up here it's just very faint because it's constantly mixing in with all of these colors. Just crazy, right? Wherever you want it to be. They don't have to connect. They don't have to look the same color. They don't have to be the same brightness. All the clouds. When have you ever gone out and seen the clouds in the sky and they're just exactly the same all over the place, right? Never. Never in my life. I don't have to stand for this. Just never. Look at that. Very cool. Working that bit of blue. The more we can take it and mix it with that white cloud, the more color, the more little shadows it brings further and further and further over to the side. Very neat. Now, let's come in here and let's mix a bit of brown. We can just do it right here on the brush. Mix a bit of the brown, bit of the white, right? A little bit over here. We don't want it to be too crazily bright, right? We need it to stand out, but we don't want it to be too dark either. A little of our black just to help kind of dull it down. Now, back here, maybe we come in with this same fan brush and it should just barely stand out with that color back here, right? If it doesn't stand out, then we need to go back and make it darker. So a little bit of black, a little bit of blue, a little bit of crimson, back down into this pile of that brownish color, right? Come back, there we go. Now we can see it standing out up here. Little crazy little mountain shape. Now, the best part about these guys is you don't have to paint the whole thing, right? They're way off there in the distance. You don't have to put the you don't have to do every bit of detail. Just that little soft little rolling hill out there, far away in our desert, way back there, right? Now, let's make some grass on this gorgeous little thing. In order to do that, we need to grab some white from over here, grab a little bit of our sap green, right? Just a little touch and start dabbing it in, and then scoop up a bit of yellow and start dabbing that in as well. Just dabbing it into the brush, just like this. Dab, 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 right? Now, our placement of the brush is very crucial. You don't want to come at it straight like this. Have your hand down here like that, and then you can start tapping in little bits, these little faraway grassy hills that live very, very far away. Come back underneath it, just like a little typewriter. Underneath it again, little typewriter, little typewriter, little typewriter. It goes far as you want. Have this little grassy hill over here. You can even turn it up. Turn it up, start popping it out that way. Leaving some of those darkness, little dark spaces in there, right? Can't have everything be so perfect. Gotta have some dark bits. Come up on that guy. Drop in a whole another little bit of green, tapping it in until it's soft. That's all we're really trying to do. Just make it soft. Right? Maybe it climbs up the mountain over here, and it's just a little difference in color. It's so far away, you're not going to be able to see anything over there, right? Way too far away. Now, let's wash that brush off, because we don't want that green in there anymore. Get that out of here. And then we're going to come back and load up our dark bit where we want to show our water. Okay, so let's come into our blue, and right over the dark canvas, which you're not really going to be able to see, we're going to place that blue color. All right, just letting it straight across about 1 inch, the whole brush, just like that. You might be able to see it, you might not. Now, when we turn, we want to go for our waterfall. We're going to turn the brush and drag the color down. Wherever you wanted your waterfall to hit or drop out from, you need to have some blue color underneath first. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen when you pull your white paint over it, right? Come back underneath, a little bit of that dark blue down in here, and we'll have a little pool of water right at the base. Very neat. Very cool. So it's just coming over the edge. Everything else, there's nothing on, right? Maybe we take a little bit of the blue, just kind of mush it up over here so we'll have some misty color. But besides that, you got this whole uncovered area where it's just liquid clear. And that's exactly what we want to have. Just a bit of liquid clear onto the canvas. Now, let's go back. We're going to wash off that old brush. Our little fan brush, right? And then we're going to add that river in. You got to have a river showing. Now, I get this question all the time, and I see it a lot when people send me their photos. When you're painting a river, right, you're not going to see the whole river like we were looking down at it from above. We're going to grab a little bit of our water, and we're just going to paint just the top, like the skimmy part of it, that you could skip a rock over, right back here. Just very lightly, coming at it right underneath our grass. Not every bit has to show, and that's literally all you need to paint to show the tip top of your river. You don't have to do the whole thing. You don't have to make it an S shape. You don't have to do any of that. You just want to paint the littlest bit that we can possibly do, and then there won't be as much color on our canvas. Leaving that little dark line back there. All right, sometimes you got to come up a bit higher. It doesn't have to be a crazy big dark line. Just like that. Sneak it underneath, right? All you have to do, that's literally it. Come back in, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. A little bit darker spaces, a little bit lighter spaces, and then we're going to be good, right? Now, we'll come over here, grabbing up a bit more paint than we did before, so we can come over the edge. So, I'm going to hold it very vertically, touch the canvas, roll it out, drop it down, and then pull your brush away, right? Go back, load up some more paint, over again, roll it out, drop it down. The more that you push on it, the more pressure that you give it, the less cool little details that you're going to see out there, right? You're going to smush all these crazy details if you do it too much. So one more little bit, and we came out here, rolling over, drop it down. Now, I want to see these little guys be pulled back straight to the right, just straight back, and that gives the water this look like it gets like kind of tumultuous, and then it rolls over the edge. That's exactly what I want to see. You can even plop in just a little bit, just so it's different, right? Just so it's not a pure blue thing like we had before. Now, let's take our brush very lightly. Let's soften it, soften it, soften it. Just take away some of those details. And then over the edge, very soft, very soft. Don't want it to be super crazy textured. At least I don't. All right, swipe it back just a little bit. Now, out of that guy, it almost looks like if we were to take just a bit, right, we can mix up our black, crimson, and blue paint again. Get rid of that brown pile right there. Mix that color up. All that Paint with Josh plaque, the madness mix. We finally come up with a name for it. The blue, black, and crimson, right? Maybe we came up into this guy over there and then just deposited a little bit of paint. Just a little touch, a little bit of our rock that was hanging out right there, right? And of course, if he's got one off of that side, I would assume he's going to have one off of this side as well. Streaking down. And that whole guy is just going to be connected to this whole big monster mountain that we're going to paint over here. But we don't want to do that too soon. What we do want to do, grab up a bit more of our blue. And now, let's pull some of that blue straight down over the tip top of that rock. All right, so we're going to have another little mini falls coming off the side. And now, since that blue's down there, all we have to do is light it up with our white. Come over the side. Falling over the edge, and now we got a little double falls that's just been cut in half by a little rock projection out there. Okay, any more dark paint that we have left, we're going to go crazy and just make this enormous jagged looking rock formation out here. Pumping all this dark color, slapping it down, covering up everything else behind it, all the light behind it, everything else. When we came out, I want this guy to just be nuts, just nuts crazy. Just crazy little thing. And came up here, got all crazy over there, streaked it down, grabbing up more of the paint, smushing it down, just smushing it, having it pull down that whole thing. We're gonna have this whole big rock that's holding up all that water. Now, of course, Paint with Josh always never makes up enough color. So let's go back in here, a little bit more of those three colors. What are they? Were you paying attention the first time? What three colors did we grab in order to make this deep dark mix? The color's so dark that all the other dark colors run for cover. I've got a good movie announcer voice. You got to give me that, right? Okay, let's come over here. A little bit more of that guy. And now we're just going to pop up into, again, a bit of water, just covering it. And now we'll have this whole huge, much larger piece of stone over here. All right, so we can do all sorts of crazy details, add little bits. The more that you dump on over here, the crazier it's going to be. Now, I'm not going to go up into my water because that's where our bushes are going to sit. I am going to come down over this way, though. We're going to have two different little guys. All right, that guy's going to wiggle up here. He's going to slide over there. He's off to the side. He's off to the races, pulling down all this bit of dark color because that's all you need. You have to have that darkness on the canvas in order to get our color to break. If you don't have that dark color on there first, your light color is not going to break and look like rocks. Trust me, I've done it a million times before. Okay, over here again, same thing. Let's change the way we want our rock to sit. Maybe it pulls over a little bit to the side. Grab up a little bit more of our mix. Because again, you never know how much you're going to need. And if you don't want to run out, it's always easier to make up more than to try to make up so much and then not be able to use it all. You know what I mean? There we go. Pull that guy down like that. We've got all this darkness. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we light it up, all right? If we were to have so much water coming down, I would imagine we'd get a whole bunch of crazy mist coming off of these little guys. As they came down and hit, it would mist up, get all nuts. We just want to add a little bit of color down there. Again, not too much, because why, guys? Because you can always add more. You can never take it away once it's there. Come in here very lightly, starting to mix up. Sometimes if very lightly doesn't work, then push a little harder. You want it to look a little different? You're gonna have the mist spread up a little bit more. Totally up to you what you want it to do, right? Now, final bit, back with that last touch of our white, and underneath, right? We're not gonna come too high up into the mist. Underneath it, leave a good little dark separator down there, and then we can add that white color to brighten up the bit of blue that we'd already laid down there initially, right? Very cool. Come across this guy, a lot of pressure, stretch him out, flatten it. Boom! That's cool, guys. Just like that. Now comes our highlighting fun, okay? And we're going to be putting a big old cactus right here, too. So, let's come in, and we're going to mix up a bunch of color again. A little bit of our brown. Okay, let's scoop this guy up down here. A little bit of brown, a little bit of our yellow ochre. We're going to mix those guys down on top of each other so they turn into this tannish, like sandstone-y kind of color. It's so cool. Look at that. All those little colors in there. Let's wipe the knife off. Come back up in here. Scrape it up like this. Now, off the edges of this guy and around, we want to leave many, many, many dark areas. Right? That's our goal. We want to leave more darkness than light. Dumping off little things, pulling it down, letting it pick up on all that other paint that was down there that we mushed on and then just left, right? There's a whole bunch of ridgy kind of paint down here. Don't have to show every single thing. Sometimes we'll go like this. Sometimes we'll come off the other side from the other direction, sweeping it down the other way, right? It doesn't all have to go the same way on every rock. Even the same rock, you can go in different directions. Grabbing it, come back, slide it down over here. What do you want yours to look like? Totally up to you. That's what I always say. I will stand by that. It's always up to you what you want it to look like. No one else gets to come in and tell you that, hey, it should look like this or it should look like that, okay? And if they do, you come tell old Uncle Paint with Josh, and I'll go after him for you, okay? Or you just tell them, hey, I watched Josh, and they'll get it. They'll get it. They'll know. A little bit of our darkness, our colors feeding it down over the dark, not trying to cover every bit, right? You got to have those dark areas in there. Just out here where the light would hit, and then the more that it goes down, the darker and darker it gets, picking up on all those little colors, all those things. Maybe this guy flew off this way, right? Maybe we turned it. We're starting to pull in another direction. Because, like we all know, not every piece of rock is all the same. Maybe we came straight down off of that little guy. And then, this guy down here, look at this, guys. Just little bits. Boom! Little baby bits. Just perfect, if you ask me. Now, one more small piece of that brown, if we can get it. Come down. There we go, guys. All right, let's go back. We're going to mix up one more pile of our dark paint. So we're gonna need a lot of it. Our black, crimson, and blue to make that Paint with Josh black color. It's gonna be fantastic. Gonna have a lot here for you too. Goodness gracious me. Okay, now you have to think about this. This is just the shadow of our bushes. It's not the entire bush. Okay, it's just a little shadowy bit. So we're gonna get our Bob Ross bushy brush out right here. We're gonna tap into some of that bushiness. And then as we come up and make our things and dump down in different places, again, leaving little bits of texture, leaving places for our highlights to pick up on, not adding too much paint so we can come in and dangle these little flowers down over our mistiness, right? All depends on what you want it to look like. And who gets to decide that? You. You don't get. No one else gets to tell you what it should look like besides you. All those little bushy action bits in there. What if this guy just had a crazy old one right over here too, just on the rock? The first one didn't have it, but maybe that guy does. Maybe he's got a little crazy old bush. Maybe up in here, we'll pop off some bushiness off the top of this guy. Just right off the top of the rock, right? It can grow. Those bushes can grow all sorts of places that you never thought they would. You just gotta give them the chance, right? Back in there, a little bit of darkness here, a little bit there. popping in. Just want to make sure that it covers up the color underneath. You want to have a little bit shine through, obviously. Couple little pieces back there, obviously. Maybe we got one more little bush right up here too. Just hanging off, hanging out, chilling on the tip top of the rock, right? Now, you obviously don't want to smash on all that paint onto the top of all of our thicker, darker highlights, which is why we left room in the middle. We didn't cover over too much. We didn't try to smush on too much or pick an area that was overly covered to then try to add our bushes onto. Sorry, I gotta pull my sleeve up. There we go. Now, let's here, every single step, how to pull up your sleeve. Okay, now, over here, we're gonna get some liquid white out, and then we're gonna start to highlight these bushes with a little of our liquid white. Same brush, right? I'm gonna come in here and let's decide, maybe we want a little bit of green on this guy over here. So we start tapping into the liquid white, into the green, and into the yellow, because you gotta have a little bit of green and yellow both. What if we started tapping on this dude? Drop a couple little vines down over here. Maybe we had a little bit of greenery on that guy. Maybe a little touch off of him. Not too much though. And you can see the more that you contact that dark paint, the more color wants to attach itself to your brush, right? So get rid of that dark brush, that dark paint. Clean it off into the bucket. Of course, right? Now let's go with a different color. We'll go back into our liquid white. Little tap, don't need to fill up the whole brush, just a little bit. Okay, little tap of the liquid white. And then, you know what? I want to see some gorgeous red, pinky little things happening back in here. Ooh, just fire truck red right there. Just excellent, right? Notice the very small, very light little touches that we're using. This liquid white causes the paint to deposit off of your brush so much better than just trying to get, you know, a big glob of it to stick onto another big glob. So it will take over. You got to make sure that you leave enough dark area in there, right? That you got to have your little shadowy bits. Got to have them. Gonna come back in here. A little bit more liquid white. Let's go into a different color. What are we going to go into? Let's go into our yellow ochre. Oh, baby. Tap this guy in into the thick pile of paint. Maybe we came up here. Little baby things just start popping out everywhere. All right, back to the pile of paint. Off of this guy. Little bits, little things here and there. Not everything has to be exactly the same. We all know that. Not every bush is going to be exactly the same amount of highlights or the same color branches or whatever. A little bit more of our liquid white. Let's go straight into the cad yellow on this guy. Up here, couple little, ooh, super bright little cad yellow bits up there. Up here, let's throw in a whole nother little touch. Not trying to cover up everything. Not trying to hit every bit of bush. Not trying to cover every piece of everything, right? You can't. You don't want to cover up every single bit. That's not going to be fun. A couple of these little guys are trying to grow all the way down. Just heading down the mountainside. A couple little things. Little doers hanging off over there, right? Now, let's come over here. I want to see some yellow up on this guy. So he's going to be nice and yellowy greenish. And then maybe a little touch. That yellow's trying to take over that red bush too. They never just all want to grow separately. They want to grow together. One of them looks at the other one and says, hey, you're growing better than me. I'm going to come steal your water. I'm going to come steal your water. Now, that's very pretty right there. And you can see, because we have that soft mountain off in the distance with no details, and then all the thick texture right up here in the front, just fantastic. Just fantastic. All right, now let's do this. Let me show you guys something cool, okay? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to take my one brush, just like so. Now, I'm going to run it just one side through my darkness, okay? So we got dark on the one side, and I'm going to flip it over and run one side through my green, just like that. Now we got the green on one side, the dark on the other. Now, let's see if you can do this. Okay, we're going to come up here. The sun's over here, which means I want my bright green side facing my sun. And then what if we came down, you can do it all at once. Touch. The more you push in, the thicker it gets, right? Depositing that darkness, coming down into our thing. And we didn't have enough green on the brush was the problem. Otherwise, it would have worked seamlessly. Just seamlessly. So again, we're going to come back in. We're going to go one swipe through our dark. Just like that on the one side of the brush, okay? A little bit more of our green this time. Maybe a little touch of yellow as well, just to help brighten it up. So, we're gonna come down, we're gonna touch again, and then the more you go down, the more you push on, right? Depositing all those little guys. You can even switch your brush over and go from the bottom to the top. Now you got one shadowy side of your cactus arm and one side that's in the light, right? Again, on one side with the green, one side with the black. Back over here, we had one little arm pop down, turn, rotate. You got a cool little cactus. Again, one more time, down through the darkness, flip it over, back through the green, and maybe on this guy, we had a little guy up here. Boom, and then rotate, turn it back into our tree, or our cactus. Just like that. Got a cool little guy out there, guys. Looking pretty neat, if you ask me. All about the amount of pressure that we can get on these cactus arms. There we go. Don't want it to be, there we go, a little rounded on the top. He's like, hey guys, what's happening? Over here. A little bit more, just to thicken it out. A thicker arm. Boom, just like that. So you got your green on one side, shadowy bits on the other. And now we'll come back with our little liner brush. So super simple. Okay, we'll take a little liner brush, and what I'm going to do is dip it into a bit of my odorless mineral spirits. Okay, it's not Paint with Bram's big old liner run, big old huge liner brush, but dip it into my odorless mineral spirits. We're just going to put it out here, just a little bit. Right now, we're going to grab our maul stick, come in here, and make the smallest, teeniest little flicks that you can possibly do. Some brushes work better. Some are a little easier to do. Some are a little bit more of a pain in the buns. You just never know until you go do it. So get out there, give it a try, and see what you can do, right? Just like this. A little bit over here. Little teeny tiny flicks. Not every bit has to be coming out of the thing. Not every little spike is all going to be the same length. Some are coming out from different places. Some are coming out the backside. Again, they don't all have to be the same, so don't worry about them too much. Okay, and then we're going to go back through our guy. And for the last thing, with that same brush that we used before, just go back and take away our brush marks. So you just have those little bits along the outside. Whatever comes off the outside is enough for a little thorn, if you ask me. Just like that. Couple little bits, guys. You don't need to go too detailed. They're not real close up. Very far away. Very far away. Now, of course, we have to go back in and add the family, and for that brush, we do need the Paint with Bram brush, because I do love that brush for making the family of birds. Maybe we're hawks in this one. Just crazy out here. Bam. Bingo. Bango, guys. Looking good, if you ask me. I mean, of course, I'm a little biased, but if you ask me, it's looking really good. Just really good. Boom, boom, boom. Well, now I've got a giant pile of brushes that I have to go clean up. I'm assuming you do as well. I can't wait to see your version of this painting. Please send it into facebook.com/paintwithjosh. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And blah, blah. Hi guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today, hey guys, all right. Hi guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did an 18 by 24 inch gorgeous desert landscape with a little waterfall. Oh, just a sunset in the distance. Turned out fantastic. You obviously think so as well. That's why you like this one. Hey guys. Hi guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a 16. Hi guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did an 18 by 24 inch desert landscape with a waterfall. Came out amazing. It was a commission for a client. She loves it. You love it. That's why you clicked on the link. That's why you want to learn how to paint this one. Hi guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did an 18 by 24 inch